Welcome to the Connected Growth Coaching Podcast, where we support women to rediscover who they are so they can thrive in all parts of their lives. Your hosts, Jen Heilman and Amanda Kingsley, share with you unique life coaching resources centered around the power of the mind and the ancient practice of feng shui. All right, we're at it again. This week.
Hey, everybody. Oops, sorry.
No, it's so good. That's the thing. Like, we're both here. We're here for you. We're here for the listeners, and both of us have a lot to say. So
Clearly,
it's going to be a lot of moments where we overlap. This week, we're going to talk about new homes. So that might mean like moving into a new home in the same community you're in. That might mean moving into a new home and a new community. It might even mean like moving into a new community in that you start your kids at a new school, right? Like, but it's this concept of like starting fresh somewhere. Because that transition is, woo! First of all, it's intense for a lot of people. It brings up a lot of emotions. It can be super challenging. It can be super exciting. But it's big stuff. It's big transformation in all.
That's a huge opportunity, right?
Yeah.
I think, anytime, I love looking at things as opportunities, like even in, particularly, of course, I'm going to jump into feng shui here, but especially when someone discovers something about their home that they're like, oh my gosh, that area is missing from my home. There's a void there. What do I do? I always look at it as an opportunity to see what actually is happening in your life.
Totally.
And, a deeper, way of looking at your life that's really significant and using it as an opportunity to grow from there. So, starting.
Yeah, so all those feelings, all those emotions, all that confusion or maybe overwhelm, excitement, whatever it is around moving is an opportunity to explore and to notice. And Jen and I are all about like, you just start by seeing it, you notice it, and you can't actually love it and love yourself in it until you accept it. So it's just like the first step is always just noticing. It's like, I'm feeling a lot of feelings around this move.
Right. The anxiety, the overwhelm, all that kind of stuff, but like why, right? I love the fact that you dig into this, Amanda. You dig into the what are the circumstances and why are you feeling that way, right? Because you don't have to feel that way. You're just choosing to feel that way right in that moment.
Yeah. So for me, I make all kinds of weird analogies, and listeners will
which I love.
They'll figure that out as the show progresses. But like for me, like when I started thinking about moving, it reminded me of school supplies. Maybe because we're recording at like a school transition. But there's some people who like walk into a Staples or Office whatever, and like all the new notebooks and like the idea of new fresh gear and stepping into like a new college syllabus or a new school year, like there's some people where that is like kid in a candy store. Like they are so excited. Me too. Mm-hmm. They have like a blank notebook, so much potential, so many choices. Like they can hardly contain themselves with how exciting it is.
I can't actually I can't go into Staples anymore, into the journal aisle, because I will buy something.
Yeah, you're like, what can I write in all these blank pages?
Oh, look at this journal. It's so beautiful. I need it.
Yeah. But then there's other people who look at a blank notebook or a college syllabus or a new something and they want to throw up. Like the thought of what lies ahead and all that emptiness is like so overwhelming and like totally freaks them out.
Right. It's that what's next, the unknown,
how am I gonna do it?
Yeah. How could I possibly learn all this stuff that's in the syllabus? Oh my God, Yeah.
So for me, that's kind of what moving is like. It's basically this like fresh start. So most people either love it or hate it. And of course, there's a whole slew of feelings in between. But it's kind of like It's either super exciting or it's super daunting. And I think that the key to your freedom, either way, is in two things. So either way, whichever your tendency is, you got to focus on two things. Well, okay, one is focus. There are two necessary things. One is focus and one is curiosity. So a new move, stepping into a new community is going to require you to keep putting one foot in front of the other. Like, you just got to stay focused on what your goal is and just keep taking one step at a time. At the same time, you got to stay really curious. Like, what's going to happen here? What am I going to learn? Who am I going to meet? What kind of realizations are going to unfold? Where is this going to lead me next? The focus and the curiosity at the same time sounds kind of like counterproductive, right? Like, if I'm super focused, how can I be curious? But that's where the magic is. It's like you're walking down a corridor, you know where you're going, and there's all these opportunities, and like, let them come in. Pick up what you need to along the way. So that's how I see it. But once again, my mind works in kind of crazy ways.
Crazy beautiful. So good.
As you're settling into your new move, whatever it looks like, the thing you want to stay focused on and curious about is, like, how do you want to feel? How do you feel, and how do you want to feel? So keep taking action that leads you to whatever that is. Maybe you want to feel grounded. Maybe you want to feel like you belong. Maybe you want to feel excited. Whatever it is, like, keep taking action that leads you to that feeling, to that desired feeling, and stay curious about what's happening around you and what can support that feeling, right? Like, I want to feel like I belong. And here I am at this, like, say, community gathering. I can stay open and curious about the people I'm going to meet, or I can hide in the corner and be all shy and freaked out. Like, you got to do both, right? And it just baby steps, one little thing at a time. But if you want to feel like you belong, you have to open the doors to belonging. So if you're following the show notes, or if you go and look at the show notes later, I did set up an example for this one. So let's say you want to feel connected. You can ask questions like, what do I need to do next to feel connected in my new space? Like, maybe that's connected to your new home, connected to your neighborhood, connected to your community, whatever it is. What do I need to do next to feel connected? Another question, and these are not the journal prompts, but this is just sort of some examples. Another one would be, who can I connect with that will help me feel a sense of belonging, right? Like, so the curiosity is just like, what questions can I ask that lead me where I want to go? Another one might be, if I remain curious, what new connections might I make? So it's like just opening yourself up to all the access points to feeling what you want to feel. Hope that makes some sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Well, it's like, specifically like finding someone, in the community that is connected, or that you feel a connection right away to, like, that will open up doors to bring you to other people, other like-minded people, that sort of thing. So just remaining open.
If it's like a home, like if you're moving into a new home, like, what's the room that you love the most?
Yeah.
What's the room that you feel most connected to? Like, I bought this house because of this room. Well, start there.
Yeah.
Like, if that's the room that you feel most connected to, start there.
Right.
So it's like, again,
absolutely, start there, and I would say finish there. Like, get that room set up and really feeling like it's the magic spot for you, so that you can radiate out into the rest of your home.
I love that. Start there. All right. So the journal prompts I'll go over quickly just for time here, but check out the show notes. The first question would be, we're kind of moving back to that similar thing. How do you want to feel once you're settled in your new space? So imagine yourself like 6 months, a year, 5 years down the line. How is it that you want to feel in that new space that you've moved into. The next question is, what would your life look like if you felt that way? So if you're talking about a community, like what kind of groups would you be in? What places would you get your coffee? Like really, what does it look like visually? If we're talking about your home, like what kind of renovations would you make? What kind of furniture would you bring in? But really connect with what it would look like visually. And then the last question is, what do you need to do right now in order to feel that way? So what do you need to do right now in order to feel connected, in order to feel like you belong, in order to feel excited? And start there. Yeah, start with the thing that's calling to you right off the bat, because it's always your inner working saying, start here, start here, start here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so important.
Yeah.
Really connecting to that intuition and acting from there, right? Yeah. Always doing that. Mm-hmm.
All right, let's take a quick break and then talk about feng shui.
Feng shui.
Let's face it, no two lives are the same, and there are no one-size-fits-all tips and tricks. We love connecting with you on the podcast, but remember that if you want game-changing results, one-on-one coaching is where it's at. You can access our programs at connectedgrowthcoaching.com, and we will walk you through the unique circumstances that arise in your life and your home.
Okay, so we are back with the feng shui. Get your shui on is what we always say. That's been the theme for our community in the last couple of years, is get your shui on. So obviously, with moving into a new home, right, we need to be looking at the spaces and setting them up appropriately. But one of the main areas that I would love for you to focus on, and I love that idea, Amanda, that you said about, filling in the space that drew you to the house, right? Because there's always that one area that maybe you love the kitchen, or the master bedroom is like amazing, So settling into those areas first so that you can feel at home and start experiencing the house in the way that you see yourself experiencing it down the road. I love that. So completing a room is really super important. Picking the one room that you don't have all the boxes in, and you don't have the mess, and you don't have the clutter in, and really just like every time you need a break, you go to that room and you clear your head and you find yourself some calm moments that don't include the moving chaos. But the main area that for focusing in as far as feeling like you're part of the community and experiencing not only this new home, but this new community and this new life that you're beginning from this new space, is the front door, right? So really take a look at how you are presenting yourself to the world. Putting something on the door that makes you feel really good about the space, or it feels welcoming to your guests. Take a look at your front entryway from the eyes of a stranger and how they approach the door. And can they see the door, or is it covered in shrubs or overgrown bushes? Making sure that because from an energetic point of view, you want the opportunities to be able to find you. So just like you want the mailman to be able to deliver your mail to the front door and know to exactly where to go, and your visitors to come and see exactly where they enter the space. It's the same thing energetically, like how you welcome in that outside world, right? So you want to be
like, I was just doing a lot of driving in our college area. And I just was looking around, noticing so many houses. I'm also like in this place where I'm just like entertaining the idea of living in a different house. So I was doing a lot of looking, and I couldn't believe how many houses are just overgrown, like chaotic shrubbery in their front. Like,
right?
When you start noticing it, it's so many houses. And to me,
so many houses.
Wow.
Yeah.
there's so
Yeah.
much happening here. This is not just about the way this looks. Like,
Right.
it just is so
Exactly.
fascinating when you start to notice. Yeah. So I love that you brought up that like overgrown look, that like,
Yeah. Yeah, it's huge, particularly in our society, that there is this hiding that's going on
hiding.
right now.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. We don't want to show
Mhm.
up as our real selves, as our authentic selves. We don't want to put ourselves out into the world because, of course, we're fearful of criticism and judgment and all that kind of stuff. And we can hide in this world of social media and showing up in a photograph, with our hair done and,
Yeah.
makeup on and all that kind of stuff. Or, instead of showing up, in real life with no makeup and a baseball hat on, like how I was yesterday. But, it's like this, we don't want to show up and
Yeah.
be criticized, right? So our homes reflect that. And it's also, it's reflecting that you know, we're not, coming out with our full potential, and so recognize
There's
that
that,
as
but then for me, there was also this sense of like people's lives, like people are so overwhelmed in their lives and they don't have
yeah,
time for you to interact with them. They don't have time to welcome you into their lives. Like, how many people don't know their neighbors, right?
right,
So there's this like, if I cover myself up, no one will bother me because I have
right.
so much on my plate, I can't handle any interaction.
One more thing. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
exactly.
just like
I don't
that
want
felt
to have
so
to be,
strong
yeah,
to me.
yeah,
Okay, I'll be
outwardly nice. What was that?
I said I'll be quiet now. Keep going.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking to Isaac or something.
No, I'm so chatty.
No, it's fine. It's totally fine. I love it. So yeah, so it is. If you start to notice your neighborhood, and you start to notice that you've probably never stepped foot into your neighbor's house, right? It's yeah, there is this hiding that's going on, and so I guess you have to decide whether that's who you want to be, if you want to show up in, in your current home and also in this new community that you're moving into. How do you want to show up? How do you want to be? And it's not just about how you represent yourself out in the world. It's actually more about how you are representing yourself to yourself,
Yeah.
right? So right, so like, are you hiding? Are you actually hiding? So, and every time you walk in that door, or walk out that door, are you in that hiding mode, right? So clearing away the shrubs, putting this, a welcome sign on the door is saying to the universe, hey, I'm ready, for these opportunities, and I'm ready to show up in my life. And, so what do you got for me? So come knock on my door, opportunity knocks. There's a reason that actually is a saying. So I think it's just huge. It's super important to reflect that, not only, like I said, to the world, but to yourself every single day. It's one of the most important areas of your home is this entryway. So how you come into your home, and when you walk in that door, if you're energetically welcomed and invited and you feel like you can take a deep breath, or you can actually exhale for the first time all day because it's your sanctuary that's inviting you in. And it's the same thing going in the opposite direction as you go out into the world. It's, calmly going out into the world and feeling really confident in who you are. So keeping, obviously the shrubs, we've talked that, around and around, but that, it's that front door, making sure that it fully sweeps open past 90 degrees, that you're not tucking, and the boxes behind it, making sure that the handle works really cleanly and clearly, and it's not difficult, you don't have to lift the door and jiggle it sideways and all that kind of stuff. So making sure that that's all working properly. And then, making sure that everything is stored away appropriately, that you've got places to hang your coats and places to put your shoes. Because if if you're stumbling over things, if things are overcrowded, then that's the energy that you're carrying throughout your life, right? You're stumbling into this next phase of your life. If you're constantly having to look where you're stepping, it's creating this kind of cautious instead of, just powerfully walking through. If you're feeling, overwhelmed by the amount of coats that are, coming at you off of the hooks or off of the hangers or whatever the circumstances are, just making sure that that is a really nice open space that is functioning and working for you. And also putting elements in there that really represent you and who you are and who you want to represent out, and how you want to be represented out in the world, but also, again, like really at your core, reminding yourself of who that person is that you want to be, so that you're taking that with you as you walk outside and go out into the world for your day, and then also returning home and reminding yourself of, that feeling of being empowered and being in connection with who you are at your core.
I had a friend move into a new house once, and I bought her a unicorn flag because she had this huge flagpole in her front yard, which is like, why would anyone have a flagpole that's this big in their front yard? Really into unicorns, and I was like, I'll buy her a unicorn flag for her flagpole. Like, it brought that element of her like claiming the energy around the house, and it brought purpose to this weird flagpole in the house.
Nice. So good, right? Yeah, so like reflecting immediately, like, this is who lives here, Yeah, exactly. Yep, that's exactly what you want.
All right, let's go. Even in the homes that we are in and staying in and love, we can all do all of these exercises.
Absolutely.
The house and the feng shui, because reevaluating this stuff all the time is super important.
Yeah, yep,
All
exactly.
Right.
Yay, so good.
As always, thanks for listening. If you learned something today that can help the people in your circle, please help us get the word out by sharing. When you leave us a rating and review on iTunes, it not only warms our hearts, but it helps people find us. We are eternally grateful for your support, and we're looking forward to connecting with you next week. Until then, you can find the show notes at www.connectedgrowthcoaching.com. You can grab your journal and then get your shui on.